Get ready with me. My question for today is, do your kids have chores? If they do have chores, what kind of chores do they have? When my 3 older kids were young and I still lived at home, we made them have set chores and made it to be in order to pay for their cell phone. And it wouldn't be anything like major. It honestly would be stuff like they should be doing anyway. At that time, we didn't have a dishwasher. Well, we had one, but it was tore up for several years. And we had the girls do dishes. And we let them decide between themselves who was going to wash and who was going to dry and put away. Our son's job was to sweep and steam mop. And he would help his dad with the weed eating too as he got a little older. The girls were told that if they saw anything around the house that needed to be done, say if they saw towels that needed folded or clothes that needed folded, then they should pitch in and help fold. And on Thursdays, me and my husband would go out and get something to eat on a little evening date time alone, and we would have them pick up the house and do their chores while we were gone. And we would make the oldest daughter be in charge of making sure that they got all their chores done. They thought we were being the meanest parents ever, I know. But what they didn't realize is, for one, it was teaching them responsibility. It was teaching them how to keep their own house clean when they grow up and get on their own. Because honestly, if they don't do anything around the house while they're young, how are they ever going to learn and know how to do things when they get out on their own? We also put in the part where they were working for their cell phone to give them, to teach them that you have to work for things. Everything in life don't come just handed to you for free. Now, I don't want you to think that we were treated them like slaves. Not at all. They never actually did it the right way. And I hate to say that. They never actually swept and mopped. I would have to do it again. But, I mean, it worked. It taught them something. And that's what we were trying to do. And we were a family of 7. So it wasn't like it was easy for me to do all that stuff anyway. Now we're down to 2 kids at home, and honestly, we have been easier on them than we ever were the first 3. We've always made all the kids be responsible for cleaning their own rooms, but when they're younger, they just cannot do it the right way. They just shove stuff, in corners and under beds. It would be okay to be a temporary fix, but I would always have to, or older siblings would have to, go in and try to help them do it the right way. And each line down, now Kaylee's responsibility is to help Hadley. And what they don't understand is we done them all that way. Now, I still will go in from time to time and deep clean myself. And right now, Hadley's room is overdue for that. If you have a huge family with a bunch of kids, it makes the whole household run so much smoother if everybody does pitch in and help out. I look back sometimes and I think about how I had 5 kids at home at once, and I think, how in the world did I do that? I struggle with 2. How did I handle 5? Getting ready to go on vacation. Making sure everybody has everything they need, clothes they need, things washed up, suitcases packed, and the right stuff packed in suitcases, and, that sort of thing. I would have to go through each individual one and talk to them, and they would show me what they'd packed, or I would have to pack for them, depending on their age. And that was always, it took forever to pack suitcases for a trip. Then you would always have some, if they were younger, wanting to pack toys or wanting to pack devices. And then you'd have, I had one that was type 1 diabetic, so we had to make sure that she had all her diabetic supplies and things we needed in case of an emergency. There were points in times where I had the type 1 diabetic and worried about her supplies and making sure she had everything she needed. And I remember being in the car on the way somewhere and going through a checklist in my head thinking, did we forget this? Do we have enough insulin? Do we have this? Do we have snacks in case her sugar drops? And having a baby at the same time with a diaper bag and making sure I have diapers, wipes, an extra change of clothes, and that sort of thing. And think I have anxiety now. Like, how did I do that? But don't get me wrong, I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm so glad that I got to experience all that. And being a mom is so exhausting, but so rewarding at the same time. They grow so fast. And you think when you're in the middle of it all, you think, oh, this is overwhelming. My life is going to be like this forever. You feel so like, and this is going to sound bad, but you feel so stuck. Like, I can't do this. I mean, believe me, it goes by so fast. And you'll look back and you'll think, wow, how did I do that? Wow, that went fast. Wow, I missed that. And it's just, life changes so fast. Every night I would make the kids make sure they knew what they were wearing for school the night before. We would have it like laid out. I even remember when Caleb was younger, that's our only boy, I remember laying his clothes out. And I remember him getting to the age in like middle school saying, I'm ready to pick my own clothes out for the day. But I would still have to approve it. Because, you know, I didn't want him going to school looking like, you know, mismatched, like a green pants and red shirt, you know. It did make it easier as they got older and they were able to do things like that for themselves. Things that I would do differently, yeah, I would. There's things I would do differently. I was not a perfect mom. I wasn't perfect kids. I was glad I was able to stay home with them and be there for them. I wouldn't have had that any other way. I realize everybody can't do that, but I was glad I was able to. And to be there for all the trips to Walmart for the poster boards and the spirit weeks and the pictures in the mornings and all that stuff. It goes by so fast, Mom.